What's up, guys and girls and fire hydrants and toasters and waffle makers? Happy Friday. Oh man, not again. It's war day, man. I have never been excited for regular season baseball as much as I am today in at least a couple days. Big night. Every team in the league playing some baseball today, and we've got some playoff hunts getting thick, and none thicker than my pride and joy, the Yankees. It could get real happy, it could get real sad tonight, so y'all bear with me on the old Twitter sphere, man. Happy Friday. I hope you guys had a great Thursday. Maybe played some Thursday night football showdown. I did. It was extremely profitable. Actually took down one of the showdown thingies. It was nice. So hoping to bring that momentum into Friday night and keep it going into the weekend, NFL Week 3. Woo. But tonight. So much baseball to chop up and discuss. We're going to do that throughout the duration of this stream, man. I appreciate you guys that are here on time. Don't tell the other ones that come later, but you guys that are here live, you're my favorite. What's up, Jonathan Adams? What's up, Sean? What's up, Kay Johnson? That was the loud. What's up, my love? Man, I'm telling y'all, baseball's beautiful. It's like the best sport ever. Let's look at some of these races, man. Boston 4 games back. The Tampa Bay's got it all, whatever. But this wild card race between the Red Sox, the Yankees, and the Blue Jays is getting down to the nitty gritty. The Twins spotted us a dub last night, which is great. Nice of them. They actually went into Rogers Center and was doing their thing for that last series. So I kind of like the Twins to keep it going. For whatever reason, they've been the Achilles heel of the Blue Jays. So keep that up, Minnesota. And then the Yankees tonight. It could all... the stress levels of the last 4 weeks could all go away if the Yankees come out tonight and win a Garrett Cole game. Yankees control their own destiny. If they win all of these interleague games, they got a 3-game set with the Red Sox and the Blue Jays. Every game counts double. They could have home field advantage in the wild card game, and you guys know it goes down. It goes down in the wild card game. I mean, some of these other divisions pretty much wrapped up. Wild card races are pretty much the only thing we're watching, and the NL West race for first place. The Dodgers and the Giants are going back and forth. Just one game separates them, and we've got like 9 games left in the season for most teams. So every game that they play, very, very meaningful. And yeah, looking at this wild card race for the NL, the St. Louis Cardinals just forgot how to lose. Yesterday, Adam Wainwright, I don't know if you guys saw this, Adam Wainwright gave up a first-inning grand slam. They were down 5 runs. They haven't come back from 5 runs, like, ever, basically. And they came back from 5 runs. Paul Goldschmidt doing his thing. Cardinals are getting hot at the right time. The Phillies and the Reds, 4.5, 5.5 games out of that second wild card spot, respectively. So not mathematically out of it, but it is a long shot to expect the 12 win in a row St. Louis Cardinals to start skidding here. So that's getting close to lockdown, and then all eyes on that AL wildcard spot. So that is the narratives for baseball. A lot of other teams shutting down. You might expect some pitchers to get wrapped in bubble wrap these final couple weeks. You might expect some call-ups to get some extra run here. But it's a wonderful, beautiful time to be a sports fan in general, because we're about to get it all. And then, of course, baseball, man, it's going through it. Sean V says, went pretty good. I got 12th place in the $66 in DraftKings, won 300. Nice. Was that baseball or the showdown? Tied for first, 37 spots, $3 entry, faded CMC on a ticket. Man, that CMC injury, right? Sometimes you're like, that was DFS. So on the main slate, I ran 20 lineups, 100% CMC, but 100% Anthony Miller. And if you guys watched my showdown video, that was the guy that I was going to lean on. Anthony Miller, too cheap, only needed a couple points. He got double digits because of that touchdown, him and Brandon Cook. So he made that slate really, really profitable. And then when CMC got injured, in my head, I'm thinking, man, I got 100% CMC. I should probably, go play this second half showdown and hope for the best and maybe recoup some losses. And I really didn't process that CMC is 90% owned. Anthony Miller is going to auto profit me, but we don't necessarily play to just profit. So I decided to go make some lineups for the second half. The thought process being that maybe CMC still collected some ownership because of people just, not paying attention. And he did. He actually was 16% owned. So rake free in a sense. And I ran either 10 or 20 lineups on that. I think it was 10. And had the nuts, Chuba Hubbard, Anthony Miller again doubling down. So it turned out to be a really profitable night of a showdown football. And yay, right? You like random stuff like that to work out. And then I actually cashed all 20 of my lineups on the main slate, even with 100% CMC, thanks to Anthony Miller. So fun times for me, man. I hope you guys enjoyed it. That's the beauty of DFS. I'm really starting to get into showdowns. Showdowns are just they're a fun sweat because you're always just a couple points behind and you just never know. You're never out of it for the most part unless you get tanked by a big injury or don't have any access to the big random third string tight end touchdown. But even then, it doesn't always push you out of the way, right? What up, ACP? Goldie just homered again. Is that a joke or did he literally just homer again? He did just homer again. Paul Goldschmidt is he's on another level right now. The Chase Field effect coming with him, right? What up, ACP? Gun my prize picks hit 4 or 5. Guess which one I missed? I'm gonna assume it was CMC. Yep. Had Miller, Darnold in the captain chair. Nice, Eric. Nice. You guys doing your thing, man. You guys make me proud. I really am proud whenever you guys. As a matter of fact, I was thinking about, I should start doing is a daily short, the YouTube short, TikTok, whatever they do. And just every night, you guys just like smack me with screenshots, and I just like show you love in a minute video. So maybe we'll get that going. I feel like during NBA it'd be a little bit more traction behind it, but I don't know. I feel like this YouTube and all these creators are like really jumping on this shorts concept, and I guess it's a thing. It's a thing. Oh man. Did I mention tonight? I'm excited for tonight. Hey, we are brought to you by RunDFS.com. That's the place where we don't just play DFS. We run DFS, man. If you guys want access to the spreadsheets that I use, that I created, much less use, for baseball, for football, and then, of course, for basketball, including access to my projections, my player pools, all that good stuff. Go to RunDFS.com. Get yourself a week pass, and then get in that RunDFS.com Discord. I say it all the time. I'm sure you're sick of it. You guys should be in a community or multiple communities. I got I'm in other communities. I got people that I love in my community, and just have sharp minds, access to sharp minds, sharp chats. And if you're the type to have a real life, you're out there in the free world, doing your thing. Being able to look at your phone and get that everyone tag because blank got scratched or blank is injured, blah, blah, blah. You need to go out there and change some lineups, right? In football, we see that too. Some guy gets injured in the first quarter. Well, that lineup just became probably behind the 8 ball, so you can go and late swap some weird stuff in it, like Derrick Henry, stuff like that. So I think community is, these days, almost as important, if not more important, than a lot of the tools, because the tools are becoming very on par with each other. But community, man, is something different. So we've had a lot of screenshots in the community in the last week, man. Soccer, banks, MMA, big hits, showdown hits. It's a beautiful thing. So if you guys are looking to submerge yourself in a community of DFS grinders, basketball on the horizon, come check us out, man. Huge series for the Yankees tonight. Are you nervous? Yes, because tonight, Yankee fandom really only has two ways to go to sleep tonight. Really happy World Series back on. Garrett Cole did his thing despite a rough history in Fenway. Or it's just not our year. Yankees lost. Alex Cora is a better manager. Blah, 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 blah. Fire Boone. Like, there's only 2 ranges of outcomes for Yankee fans tonight. And, I'm in it till we ain't, right? But it is going to be playoff vibes, and you got to become some road warriors right now where it really, really counts. So I'm definitely nervous. I'm slightly excited. I do think, hopefully, this bullpen starts tightening up a little bit. Chapman was passing the eye test against the Rangers, but having Severino getting back in the mix, I really, really, really would like Jonathan Loaizica soon. I need the right Chad Green. Temperatures come down a little bit. Definitely nervous, but man, that's what baseball's about tonight. Yankees and Red Sox in Fenway, and it's on ESPN. So I'm so excited. Like, I heard somebody hating on baseball yesterday, and I was just like, man, how do you not love baseball? Like tonight is gonna be just the electric crowds are just tonight's gonna be a great example of that. So I don't know. Eovaldi owns the Yankees. Maybe, but his last couple starts, the Yankees won, right? Not saying that they put up a ton of run, but I'm pretty sure the Yankees won his last start. I don't expect it to be a shootout if that's what you're taking away from that. Let me see. Nathan Eovaldi, DKP by game log versus Yankees last 10 games. Actually, didn't they get to Eovaldi his last start? Last start, the Yankees won. He gave up 2 earnings, 2 homers. And then no decision, win. So I guess owned in the context that he doesn't like give up a bunch of runs, but it's not like it's an auto L for the Yankees. Mr. Sean V. Where my boy Eric? Eric coming to get you. He averages 22 and 3 point. Yeah, so from a fantasy perspective, yeah, he'll be fine. We'll talk about him. He's definitely in play tonight, but I was more so leaning on the real life vibes. Yeah, I know. I like Eovaldi though. Former Yankee great. Remember one time as a Yankees pitcher, he had a no going in Texas, and I was just so ecstatic, and he didn't get it, but it was fun. It was a fun sweat. Man, oh man. Alright, looking at some of these lineups. Guys, did you guys see anything about weather? I guess I should pull up weather. Me. Sean V. Public enemy number 1 in the DFS YouTube chat room sphere. Give me a second on the second screen. Check out weather. Keep that in the back of mind. I heard a couple days ago that they were expecting some weather in Fenway, but I'm not seeing that reflected on Lab, so I'm going to go check out Mr. Roth's weather report via Roto-Grinders. Ooh, yellow orange. He says, and this is from Kevin Roth, Roto-Grinders, he says, it doesn't look terrible, doesn't look great, just scattered showers around. My lean is that they figure out a way to play ball tonight through some rain. A delay may be needed if and when heavier batches move in. So, if you're a real-life Yankee fan, that's dangerous. Because right now they got it set up for Garrett Cole to be able to go every 5 days, meaning he can get a start here. I think he's also set up to start the last game against the Rays. Yankees schedule. If rain happens, it'll rob the Yankees of a Garrett Cole start unless he decides to go on short rest, which we saw him do with the Astros against the Rays, ironically, and it didn't go great. So we'll be watching out that. So Yankees tonight, then 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Blue Jays, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he actually could get 3 starts if he went every day right now. So if rain happened, it would be not what you want to, and you can milk out 3 starts from your big ace in every game that's left. The Red Sox, Blue Jays, and Rays. These are important baseball games. So we're going to have to do some rain dances out there in Boston and keep that rain away, because we would much rather get the 3 starts out of the ace than not. So hopefully the weather helps us out, and God's a Yankees fan, right? What up, Justin Sports? I need the energy to play 15 game. It is 15 gamers Friday nights. They're wild. FanDuel, I think FanDuel slate is a little bit smaller if you're into that. FanDuel has 13 games on their main slate due to a couple of double headers. But yeah, 15 gamers are wild. We have one team right now with a implied run total of 7.1, the Giants and Core. So it's gonna be a wild one. It is. Don't worry, Sean. When NBA comes, Raj will be public enemy number 1. Raj, I'm trying to get Raj to get a webcam, man. Get a little bit more dimension to the broadcast. Want to make those NBA streams pop a little bit more. Baseball, I'm so you guys have really crushed it on baseball. But it for in terms of like baseball growth for the stream, man, like I'm definitely happy with the move forward this season. The last 5 years, man, these live streams we're chilling with 5, 8, 9 people. But this year, there's been a stream or two where we pushed 70, which is so modest versus NBA. NBA, we got a couple hundred of you guys, and we're just going nuts. But I love to see growth in baseball because it's like my favorite thing ever on the planet. And I like basketball, don't get me wrong. But it's just so wild to me that like I'm more, I don't use the word popular, but I get more traction on sports that they're not my, like I feel like I know more about baseball than the other sports. I'll say that, but like versus the field too, like I got a good grasp of it. Would like to see more, but what are you gonna do? Oh my God, Raj is in the chat. Raj said he got the webcam. All the thing Raj needs is an effing wired internet connection. But yeah, we'll get him going. Then you guys can see just Indian Skip Bayless, or excuse me, Sri Lankan Skip Bayless with his ridiculous takes. Raj only comes on the stream so Gun can't get his blood pressure up. Gun doesn't yell until Raj gets... You don't need to see Raj's face? Oh, man. We got a bunch of musicians in the community. I need them to collab on like a intro beat or whatever for those streams. Y'all are wildin'. Anyway, we call that the shoot around, right? The shoot around portion of the stream. Now it's time to splash some Gatorade on our face because that's how you consume Gatorade. And let's talk some baseball, guys. Game number 1 tonight. The Pirates at the Phillies. Sam Howard taking on Kyle Gibson. Pirates have an implied run total of 3.6 and the Phillies 5.5. So anytime we see teams at 5.5 run totals, they're automatically on the stack radar, and we start considering them against Sam Howard. He looks like he gives us a decent strikeout to look here. I wonder what's in a wonder bar, how many pitches we might get from him. We have 2 S. Howards on the slate today, and that's not weird. Spencer Howard and Sam Howard. Weird. Anyway, Sam Howard's the projected opener. We get 1 inning out of him, sometimes 2. And then who do we turn the ball over if we are the Pirates of Pittsburgh? Miguel, former Yankee great. All right, so I guess we'll put his stats into the spreadsheet here just to kind of see what we're working with. This seems like it's going to be one of those spots. If we land on some Phillies, we're betting on talent. The long opener here does have a power problem against righties. We don't have a ton of sample size innings, so maybe I don't know. I feel like we're taking the scenic route here to say stack Phillies, but it's always worth doing a little bit of due diligence, especially if we're going to get 4 or 5 innings out of this kid. Might be a little edgy. I don't know how to say his name. I'm assuming it's Yager, but a little Latin appearance to him makes me think it might be like Yair or something. Yair, and now I like him. Against lefty, we don't have much sample size in the minors either. So, last couple games, homer, low average. Seems like he's getting sometimes a strikeout per inning, sometimes less. So, I don't know. I think we're betting on talent here. We're betting on Vegas to tell us the Phillies should score some runs. So, give me all access to the Phillies in 5-man stacks. Other than Bryce Harper, JT Realmuto, a couple 4Ks or lessers. Odubel Herrera, for some reason, just will not go up in price on Fanduel. He's under 3K. My optimizer cannot quit you. He's 2,500 as a potential leadoff guy of a 5+ run total team. So he'll definitely be somebody that stands out for optos. So you might have to govern that with a little bit of a cap. And same with Brad Miller. If he's going to be batting, 5th in this lineup, he's going to pop really well on FanDuel. That's $300 above min with a lot of power. 3,800 on DraftKings, a little bit more pushback there. Kyle Gibson, 7,900. We isolate Gibson's lefty splits, which I think is fair based on this projected Pirates lineup. 18% K rate to lefties, 4.4 xFIP. Keeps the ball on the ground a little bit more than most. But these numbers on a Friday night don't scream tournament winning upside. But at 7,900, if you just think, get yourself 16 to 20 and pinch some pennies to go get some of those Coors bats, I definitely wouldn't push back on you. I think I'm off of pitching from this game. You can give me some Philly stacks. I don't really feel inclined to get to the Pirates. They did put up some runs yesterday, and they are pretty cheap on both sites. But on a 15-game slate, man, I really try to keep it tight and narrow down and concentrate my pool so I'm not too thin. So I don't really have a vested interest in the Pirates and their 3.6 implied runs. You can give me some Phillies. I'm betting on the talent more so than isolating the matchup. And no Gibson for me. Herrera almost getting to the Lane Thomas status. Yeah, man. He's just really cheap and seems to get it done one way or the other. I don't know I don't know. I know the Phillies have been getting like extra innings lately, so I typed in Lane Thomas too, right? But just when you're that cheap and you're leading off, but it's in your team's run total, like you don't have to do much process wise to realize that hey, he could be a good play. 15 DKP yesterday, 3 hits and a double, so it looks like his stick might be a little hot. But you see, there's at least in his last 10 games, 30% of the time he got you double-digit fantasy points. The other percent, like a large percent, he got you nothing. But as a leadoff guy at 2,500, opportunity is nice for the price. And that rhymes. Josh Jennings in the chat. What up, Josh? Rangers at the Orioles. We got Spencer Howard taking on Alexander Well. I do believe... No, this is a real game. I'm a real game. Isaiah Kaina Falefa is leading off for the Rangers today because we do have the official Rangers lineup. Andy, I took a pill. Ibanez, Adolis Garcia, Nate Lowe, Nick Solak, Charlie bit me, Culberson, DJ Peters, Jonah Heim. Chat, you know how I do like nicknames for like every starting roster in basketball? Is that corny? Should we stop doing that? Imagine if I did that for baseball. The stream would be 5 hours. I don't know. Some of you guys would probably be mad if I did stop that. 4.8 is your implied run total for the Rangers. 4.8 for the Orioles. I got Alexander Wells on the bump for the Orioles. Do I not just have stats for Alexander Wells? Does he have like less than 15 or less than 10 innings versus both sides? I think that's the threshold for this data pool. What up, Lorenzo? Doing all right, brother? He has pitched plenty. Why don't I have his stats in the spreadsheet? Something ain't right there. Alexander Wells. His price tag came up. He doesn't have like a weird different name, does he? Oh well. We'll pull up his Fangraphs card. Just out of curiosity, it wouldn't be Alex Wells, would it? It's Alex Wells. A little nerdy side of spreadsheet coding. Sometimes you get guys like Nathaniel Lowe, Nate Lowe, Alexander Wells, Alex Wells. Some guys will have different names and different data systems. And in this case, Alexander Wells is Alex Wells. So against righties, 354 average. Let's make sure that's the correct against righties. All right, so we got the information here on Wells. 4.65 xFIP to lefties, 6.99 xFIP to righties, a 10.7% K rate, 354 average allowed, 332 home run per 9. That is not what you want. Rangers do have some guys that can smack lefties. You can give me Adolis Garcia for sure, Andy Ibanez for sure. Charlie Culberson has hit lefties at one of the best clips in all of baseball since the beginning of last year. Sure, his sample size is a little bit more muffled because of his lack of at-bats, but $100 above min price on Fanduel against these splits right here, yeah, I'm an investor in that. You could definitely sell me on a little bit of Charlie Culberson. Could this game get one of those sloppy who's that shootouts? Definitely possible in Camden. So I might have a batch of lineups that do kind of focus on that. I'm a little bit more enamored by this Ranger stack than maybe I should be, but against these opening numbers from Alex Wells, and we know how bad this Orioles bullpen is, especially in Camden, I think the Rangers are in a spot to surprise some people, even though their offense is just not good. 78 WRC plus on the season against righties, but we're chipping and chairing single game sample sizes, right? Give me Ibanez, give me Garcia, probably Culberson. You probably coin flip Solak and Nate Lowe. I'm probably leaning more towards Solak. Jonah Heim, DJ Pitt. Yeah, give me some Ranger stack. Probably put in back pocket 3 to 5%ers and see what happens. Against Spencer Howard, he has allowed a high average and a decent home run per 9 to righties on the road. That's come down, but just overall a 4.74 Sierra, 4.11 expected ERA, a 1.57 WHIP. Like I said, but I think both teams could be in a sloppy shootout between two teams that are not doing anything but just playing baseball. Austin Hayes has come into his own in the last month. He's still really, really cheap on both sides. More so on DraftKings in the context of how much salary you do get to play with. So it makes a better value play there. Trey Mancini at 3,200. This whole Orioles team is pretty doggone cheap, all things considered. And then Cedric Mullins, he does everything. He steals bases. He hits for an incredible average, and he hits for extra base hit at a good clip as well. And he's 4,200, so you catch him in the leadoff spot. Definitely don't mind getting some access to this game as a Friday night stack. You heard? It's Alex Wells. Yep, that's what it is. Don't change your flow. That's what we're here for. And it Rogers everywhere. Yeah, I think Kyle Lauer can give me 50. Give me some of that. Love the Rangers wraparound stack on DK. Some Heim. Maybe, yeah, I'm with that. I think these two teams would probably be the point of access for some of the higher priced pitchers if you did want to get into a Garrett Cole, somebody like that. But just generally speaking, I don't expect obscene ownership on them. I haven't looked at ownership projections. You know me, like to process the slate before we do all that. But I gotta assume there's a lot of ownership on the 7-run total team in Coors Field, right? Marlins at the Rays. We do have lineups out for this game. Rays I've already got typed in before I went live. Marlins lineup came out. We got Miguel Rojas, Josh Chisholm, Brian De La Cruz, Jesus Sanchez, Louis Brinson, Lewin Diaz, Nicholas Fortes. I've seen his name come up in the feed a few times lately. Nick Fortes. All right. Eddie Alvarez. You guys remember Matt Forte? That dude was a fantasy beast. Edward Cabrera taking on David Robertson. Robertson used to be a reliever for the Yankees, so I'm assuming he's an opener here for the Rays. Let's see what we're working with. David Robertson. Yeah, 1 inning's probably what we should expect from him. So it's going to become your atypical annoying Rays game, so we don't have to worry about pitching here. It's going to be hard to process the matchup anyway. Marlins being a really, really bottom-of-the-barrel team in a pitcher's park against a bullpen game. If you wanted to get to Marlins, you're just trying to get different and play some Marlins. There's not really going to be a matchup I think we isolate and prepare for because of the Rays leaning on a bullpen game. Let me see if they've got a long reliever. Yarbrough. All right, I guess we probably do get a chunk of innings out of Yarbrough, 3, 4, 5. Against the Marlins, we got one game against the Marlins. He did fine, 3 strikeouts. If we wanted to pick on lefties, Yarbrough can get got by righties. But there's no one in this lineup that I would really want. I guess we could flip the switch here and just put the Marlins against Yarbrough. Brian De La Cruz at 250 ISO against lefties. Jesus Sanchez 220 plus. It is what it is. Maybe you play Yarbrough and steal a win, but if you're on Fanduel, you can't get that quality start if he's not the starter. I'm just staying away from it. No Marlins for me. Against Edward Cabrera, a little rockier start than MLB The Show would have us believe. I think I'm off of this spot for them. Wander Franco back in the lineup. I thought I had read that his season was all but done. So having Franco and Nelson Cruz in the Rays lineup definitely beefs them back up. However, you look at the prices on this Rays stack, 5,200, 55, 56, just foreshadowing. That's basically what the Giants are in Coors Field, right? The Giants don't have any 6K players, 58, 57, 53, 52, 5K. So I don't see how you get to the Rays in a 1v1 other than just thinking that they're too low owned against a young pitcher. But overall, I think the Marlins bullpen in this park should lean on the side of pitcher friendliness. So I'm not really running to this price Rays stack. It won't be there on the Marlins. So this game just kind of exists on the side to me. Let's get caught up on chat here. Kind of like the Rangers and the O's against Howard. Love the Rangers. Yep. Brandon Lau is my lock of the day. against Cabrera. Man, I'm telling you, Cabrera is supposed to come out a little bit better than this. Maybe he's due for positive regression, as they say. But yeah, 3.38 home run per night so far. That's what you want against Brandon Lau as a leadoff guy. His fly ball rate being just 30%. You might expect these numbers to come down. But that hard contact's up there, that line drive rate's up there. It's just 20 innings of sample size. Like I said, the minor league stuff is pushing us in the direction of Cabrera becoming a good starter, but it does take some time to make that transition start to start. So that 13.6% barrel rate is a problem, almost lines up perfectly with Brandon Lau. So I don't mind that call metrically. I think it definitely makes sense. Louis Brinson. You like some Brinson? I'm out on that. Let's move on to the next game. Indians hosting the Chicago White Sox. White Sox 4.1 implied run total. The Indians 3.9. Very, very, very low implied scoring here because we got Dylan Cease against Shane Bieber. And his mama don't like you, and she likes everyone. So what the are you doing with your life? Shane Bieber is the most expensive pitcher on the slate. And that seems like a Friday night problem for a guy coming back from the IL on a team that has nothing to play for and a guy that hasn't pitched since June 13th. And for him to be this priced, I don't get it. I really don't. And this is one of those blurbs by the pricing algorithm where like I don't know, but I feel like the utility at this price point is a lot lower because the risk is a lot higher. Maybe I'm sleeping on Bieber going 110 pitches in the minors in some rehab starts. Bieber has he even nothing's coming up. Has he thrown some rehab starts? I would assume so. I don't know. It just seems a little bit crazy for him to be the most expensive guy. Bieber threw a bullpen session Tuesday. He's in line to make his first major league appearance. Blah, blah, blah. He recently made a pair of rehab appearances. Allowed 4 runs in 6 innings. Yikes. The right-hander tossed 57 pitches in Double-A Akron, Ohio on Sunday and is expected to be limited to 75 pitches. Like, you can't play him at 11.3. So, I don't know. I feel like the algorithm just had him stashed as a ridiculously expensive guy. So, I don't think 75 pitches at 11.3K Shane Bieber baseball against the Chicago White Sox is in play for me, so I'm probably just going to have to X him out. Dylan Cease on the bump for the White Sox. He's been nice to me, man. I tend to gravitate toward him in spots throughout the season, and he's come through for me with a couple 30 bombs against the Indians, the no-hit kids. Always a plus spot. Indians have a 3.9 implied run total, sub 70-degree temperatures. At 9K, we're working with a 32.6% K rate to lefties, 30.6% to righties. On the road, he's got a 0.96 home run per nine. If you're going to give me near 1-3 strikeout propensity against a lineup that has Franmil Reyes, Bobby Bradley Zimmer, Roberto Perez, Owen Miller, all with very, very high strikeout rates. So it's basically, can we get through Jose Ramirez and to an extent Franmil, but the strikeout rate is there to neutralize Franmil. I'm in on Cease. I think 9K is a little too cheap for his potential floor to ceiling ratio. It's one of those price points where I think you're still live with 18 DKP, and then of course you're hunting at 30 DKP. So I like his floor to ceiling ratio. In one game against Cleveland this year, negative 5.9. Lately, 30, negative 3, 19, 33, 28. So we're trying to avoid that negative, but I'm in on Dylan Cease tonight. He'll probably be a tier 2 for me. Matchup-wise, neither team is going to project extremely well offensively. I mentioned it. Both teams have about a 4 or less implied run total. Maybe with Bieber being somewhat limited, you might take a flyer on the White Sox here or there, and maybe that bullpen doesn't thrive. But for the most part, on a 15-game slate, man, we're picking our battles, and I think this would just be, let a couple of high-class guys get into the player pool, the J-Rams, the Yasmani, stuff like that. And I'm probably not going to get to a consorted full stack here. You guys got anything different here? If you play Bieber tonight, you throwing money away? He got his peaches down in Georgia. Yankees at the Red Sox, boys. Yankees at the Red Sox. Man, oh man. Red Sox lineup is out. Enrique Hernandez. I can be your hero, baby. Kyle Schwarber batting second. Xander Bogaerts. That bum. Rafael Devers. He wants some. He come get some. JD Martinez batting fifth. Ya bum. Alex Verdugo batting sixth. We here to talk our stuff, man. Hunter Renfroe. Not even the best Hunter Renfroe in daily fantasy sports. Bobby Dalbec, not even in the lineup, okay? Christian Valdez out here in the line. You're getting a spot over. Imagine getting benched. And oh, man. Yeah, it's a good lineup for the Red Sox. That's tough. Red Sox have an implied run total of 4.4. Yankees 4.7. We don't have the official Yankees lineup yet, but I gotta imagine it's the jumbo goal line package lineup. Get everyone in there. Get Luke Voit as your DH. Put Stanton, Judge, Gallo in the outfield. Rizzo at first. DJ at probably third. Glaber at second. Give me Gio at shortstop. And Gary behind the plate. That would be my lineup for the Yankees. So we'll see if that's how it comes out. But the big statement in that is Luke Voit in the lineup and probably Gardy to the bench, which may be the wrong way to play against Eovaldi. Maybe you should play your contact hitters and go for it. But man, we want the hitters, man. We want the killers. So I'll be looking for that. Lineup's not out yet. Garrett Cole taking on Nathan Eovaldi. This is the cover matchup. Garrett Cole is definitely somebody that in games that mattered this year, he has shown up and showed out. He's on a couple of games where the results were not great, especially not ace-like. Falling, just getting destroyed against the aforementioned Cleveland Indians, the multiple-time no-hit award winners. Not what you want. 10 hits allowed in that game. Results definitely sucked. And then at Baltimore, just not getting the results that you want. So you would hope that he ate his Wheaties today and woke up to pitch some good baseball, averaging about 19.8 against Boston this year. Last game at Boston, 16.5 fantasy points, 3 earnings. You're just looking for him to fight. It's kind of hard to like him and get those warm and fuzzies from a DFS standpoint, but the magnitude of this game for him to wake up this morning, stay sharp, knowing his next 3 appearances are his likely most important appearances as a Yankee, makes you want to buy into the narrative a little bit. But at Fenway, man, this is the Lions' den. So I definitely would be tapered in my expectations and my exposure to Garrett Cole here. This is one of those spots where I think a lot of the knee-jerk reaction by the field would be a little bit uncomfortable to get to the pitchers, and then they don't get to the offenses. So I'm fine with playing multiple ranges of outcomes here and reflecting that in mass entry, right? You can give me some Red Sox, you can give me some Yankee stacks, you can give me some Eovaldi, you can give me some Garrett Cole. It all makes sense. Eovaldi at 9.7K on DraftKings. I guess now that Chris Sale's back, he's not the ace, so to speak, but he's definitely been a rock for them. Last couple games for Eovaldi, 5.57, 6.1 innings, 90 to 100 pitches, probably what we should expect. And the strikeout stuff is just nasty. 7 or more strikeouts in 5 games straight. And in 5 starts against the Yankees, he's averaging 22 fantasy points. That's a good building block. Last start at the Yankees, 14.5 fantasy points. It should be a dogfight, and I can't wait for it. But I think, unbiased opinion is Nathan Eovaldi is definitely in play against a Yankees lineup that can strike out with the best of them and can double play with the best of them. Nathan Eovaldi draws a 46% ground ball rate to righties and a 36.1% ground ball to lefties, but that righty double play rate is ridiculous high. I think the Yankees lead the league in double play. So even if he, walks one, lets one on, he's still one pitch away from getting out of it. So taking off the rose-colored glasses, I definitely wouldn't fault you guys for getting to some Eovaldi. Just as important as of a game this is for Garrett Cole, it's that important for the Red Sox as well. This is a quasi-playoff atmosphere. So, man, load up on this game. And if you hate the Yankees, Eovaldi makes sense. You hate the Red Sox, go for some Garrett Cole. But if we're being real, 10.8K on Garrett Cole does feel a little bit up there. But he does have that 40 DKP point upside, the ability to take over a game. If you guys remember that Houston Astros game before the break, he went CG on them, and the Astros are as good as they come. So he still has that ability in him. Yeah, let's get caught up on chat, see what you guys got. Lorenzo says Cleveland plays better at home. I love Franmil Reyes. Golden rule for DFS: don't play with your heart. I definitely don't. Like, trust me, you'll see me with some Eovaldi in the mix for fantasy, but I'll be rooting against him on the old TV. This game will be 2-3 Yanks win. I'm in on that, but Fenway can get crazy. Also remember, and I didn't really give it enough credit here, but remember at the top of the show we looked at Kevin Rock's report, and there's going to be some rain implications here. So the air could get a little bit more humid. They could play through rains at times, and this game could just get weird and it could delay. So that makes me a little bit more cautious on Garrett Cole at 10.8K, because let's be real, we can't play Shane Bieber at 75 pitches, so he just doesn't exist. So then that makes Garrett Cole the most expensive pitcher, and the responsibility of him at that point is really, really high. Going against a great offense in the Boston Red Sox on the road, Fenway, volatile area anyway, plus potential weather, potential rain, potential delay. There's a lot of risk involved in playing some Garrett Cole today. So I'm not like running to jam in Garrett Cole, but based on the weather, I would have exposure to him, obviously. But I probably right now, if I had to tier him, he's probably tier 2, and if he fell to like top end tier 3, it wouldn't shock me. So it is what it is. Squirtle 2 Squad, man, appreciate that follow. We got a couple other follows throughout the Patty Whacker, appreciate that. Appreciate that sub, man. Welcome to the stream, man. I hope you guys are enjoying the content, man. Feel free to jump in chat, be part of the conversation. So let's play some ranges of outcomes here. If we did get an extended delay, and I don't think they will, I gotta imagine this game being on ESPN with how important it is, blah 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 blah. They're gonna want to get this game in, and if they did delay, make it a minimal delay. But if they did delay, this becomes a bullpen game, and then weird things happen. Looking at the Yankees are coming off an off day. I believe the Red Sox are as well. Yeah. So bullpen should be fully rested. So it's going to be a little bit harder to kind of guess who might come in a bullpen game. Adam Ottavino, Martin Perez, Josh Taylor, Matt Barnes are guys that Alex Cora went to on Wednesday. No one really pitched in back-to-back days on that Wednesday either. So I would imagine everyone's unlocked for the Red Sox. And then looking at the Yankees side, Luis Severino threw 30 on Tuesday. They probably want him to go every 4 to 5 days just to kind of have that starter mentality. So maybe he doesn't come out today. Maybe we see him tomorrow. But I much like the Red Sox, no one pitched 2 days in a row. So I think everyone's available at the bullpen. So we might see a chess match, and I can't really get creative and say, hey, if this happened, play this guy because that guy comes in. We're just betting on talent here. Yankees implied run total 4.7. They are a slight favorite here. I gotta imagine that's because Garrett Cole's on the bump. But yeah, a lot at stake here. This is probably the most meaningful game on the entire slate from a real life perspective. And Garrett Cole, for what it's worth, slipping in the Cy Young. I'm sure that's like the least of his worries, right? But Robbie Ray didn't really capitalize on him getting crushed by the Indians. So what a statement game this would be if he came out and looked like classic Cole. Gun, do you still stream to Twitch? Not the DFS content. Every now and then I'll stream some Fortnite over on Twitch, but not the DFS content. I tried it. It looks like a lot of the DFS Twitch streamers have kind of like come back to YouTube. This YouTube's market's just better suited for DFS. And then Twitch. One of the main reasons I was on Twitch anyway, because used to get away with playing music and stuff like that. The DMCA Armageddon kind of happened, and there was like less and less incentives, and then YouTube started adding stuff like super chat membership, stuff like that. So I really don't have a genuine there's not a whole lot of benefits that Twitch has in this market that YouTube doesn't have, right? I'm not going to get hosted by other DFS streams or anything like that to grow the community. So no on DFS, but I will, anytime I play Fortnite, I usually fire it up on Twitch. So if you guys do follow me on Twitch and just want to shoot the breeze, I thought about doing a game night once a week on this channel, but usually stuff that doesn't really cater to the niche of this channel. I don't really get much, but I don't really care about the views. But, you know, we get 10, 15 of y'all hanging out, playing some video games. I wouldn't be against that. You can't compare the Cole game against the Astros to this game now. There are no ties other than the division race. I can't compare the Cole game. I mean, before the break, the Yankees were not looking like a playoff team. Garrett Cole was in a stretch where it was after the sticky stuff saga, so a lot of people were pointing at him and saying he can't do it without the sticky stuff. And then going into the All-Star break, it set the tone for the second half. So what I mean by the Garrett Cole Astros game is we've seen him step up in big spots. And in that game, you know, he threw 120 pitches and CG'd and was just on. And the Astros, in terms of, you know, a talented team, pitching against the Astros in Houston, not easy to do. He went out there and did it with attitude. So it wasn't a 1-to-1 versus the what's at stake for the team, but there was stuff at stake, and it was a big game for Garrett Cole. So that's essentially what I was saying. It's not impossible for him to show up and show out against a high talent team on the road in the Lions Den. So yeah. Let's move on to the next game here. We spent a lot of time on that. I'm sure we'll come back to that when the Yankees lineup does come out. Again, I feel like you want the jumbo package, taking a shot at the homers, but I guess in a sense it wouldn't be crazy for some contact lineup to go out there and be a little bit more scrappy. But I gotta imagine it's the full-fledged swing and miss guys. But if they make contact, the ball could jump the fence. The Royals at the Tigers. Carlos Hernandez taking on Casey Mize. Royals a 4.6 implied run total. The Tigers 4.5. Pitching wise, Carlos Hernandez 5,500 on DraftKings, 8,300 on Fanduel. I feel like I'm about to get in trouble. Tigers, Casey Mize. So we know that the Tigers and AJ Hinch are doing kind of like babysitting their starters. So I don't think I get too much Casey Mize in this spot. And by much, I mean probably none. 3 innings. He's just being babysit. So you can't do much with that. Carlos Hernandez is somebody I'm a little bit more intrigued with, and this may be a real life thing. You know, when I was watching him against the Yankees, he looked like a problem, and he looked like he had really, really good stuff. Last couple starts, 4, 6 innings, 3 strikeouts. I feel like we should be getting more strikeouts. We're not, and it is what it is. If he's just not going to be a strikeout guy at the big league level, then so be it. But man, what I was watching looked really, really good. So let me look at the minor league stuff first of all to make sure that like there's not another Carlos Hernandez that's driving me nuts. So it would be the Kansas City one. So in the minors this year, 26 innings, 26 strikeouts, 129 whip. So maybe, I guess maybe a strikeout per inning is what we should expect. But man, it felt like when I was watching him that he had some stuff. Maybe I'm thinking of somebody else and I'm an idiot. But let me go to the pitch report on Carlos Hernandez. By the way, if you guys are subscribed to the RunDFS.com VIP stuff, I just opened up the K Factory and the pitch report. Up until now, I did not know I had it hidden, but that's because yesterday was weird. Fastball sits at 97, so 97 average mile an hour fastball, and I think that's why I'm thinking he had better stuff, because that fastball can get to 98, 99, then he backs it up with a slider that's over 10 miles an hour lower velocity than his fastball, and that's a spot where you cheat on that high velocity fastball and you swing early against that lower velocity slider. I think that's a recipe for strikeouts. And now looking at this Tigers team with fastball, slider, and curveball being the Tigers actually profile pretty decently overall against the curveball, but they suck against the slider. So I don't know. I feel like I might be talking to myself into some 5.5K Carlos Hernandez, just because I do feel like with those pitch types in Comerica, 65 degrees or so. This isn't a bad spot for your average right-handed pitcher with a little bit of strikeout stuff. 11.2% swing and strike rate. You'd want that call strike rate to come up. He's having a problem walking lefties. But I feel like I'm going to get to some Hernandez as a tier 3 for me tonight. Just because he's 5.5K. Would I take 10? Yeah. Would I want 10? No. I would really want 15. And 15 DKP against the Detroit Tigers doesn't seem that difficult. Negatives against Oakland, but 15, 14, 24, 29. Like, there's a real range of outcomes for success at 5,500. And if he got you 20 plus at 5,500, I mean, that's an SP2 massive spot. So I'm in on Carlos Hernandez. Yeah, Tigers have an 89 WRC plus against righties on the season. Not great. Yeah, give me all the Carlos Hernandez. Casey Mize going probably one round with all these hitters. Maybe he gets to the leadoff guy or Nicky Lopez twice. But for the most part, we don't expect Casey Mize to see this lineup twice. And then we hand it over to the bullpen. And then the Royals have a couple of guys like Salvador Perez. Maybe on Fanduel looks a little bit more welcoming price-wise. But a couple guys in this DK lineup, or really in this lineup, that we can get to and maybe steal some big games from, even if it's mostly off of the bullpen. Tigers bullpen, not great. So I'm in on some Hernandez. I'm cherry picking some Royals. Against the Tigers, Hernandez hasn't had a home run problem. 0.52 on the road, under 1 against lefties and righties overall. So I don't really have Tigers that stand out to me. So I'm probably not really even there. Like, if you thought Kill Badu or somebody like that can get one first pitch, whatever, go for it. But I'm just gonna cherry pick some Royals. Give me some Hernandez, and that's all I got to say about that. Squirtle with his first chat comment. How do you feel about Falefa on the over for base and also hits plus walks on PrizePicks? Incredible question and incredible opportunity for me to segue into PrizePicks. Guys, if you're not on PrizePicks.com, then what are you doing? You must not watch anyone who's ever talked about DFS ever, because everyone who has talked about DFS has a code for PrizePicks. So the question is, how do you feel about Falefa on the over for base? So I'm guessing his total bases is what we're talking about. And we did mention Falefa is leading off against Alex Wells in Camden. So Falefa in the leadoff spot. Five implied at-bats in Camden. That's already a plus spot against Alex Wells, who allows a 354 average to righties, 10.7% K rate. He's going to let Falefa put the ball in play. Falefa's more of a hit for average guy anyway. So total bases on Falefa is 1.5. So you would need a double or a pair of singles to jump that. And then the other question was hits plus walks. So walk-wise, Alexander Wells, 8.9% walk rate. That's a little elevated, but not crazy. And I don't know what Falefa's walk rate is, but I guess we can look that up real quick like. I will say, though, that when I bet props on PrizePicks, I tend to stay away from total bases, but that's not me trying to get you guys away from that. That's just not how I roll. Usually I'll find a guy I like and look at his fantasy points, because usually anyone that I think could hit a homer, obviously the fantasy points are not set as a homer, so I'm in on that. And then if Falefa hit a bases clearing RBI single or something like that, that would also probably give it to the over. So we'll look at his fantasy points in just a second. But against righties, Falefa has a 0.19 walk to strikeout ratio. So there's walk percentage against lefties, 2.5% walk rate. So we can't really expect the walks plus hits. And also the walks plus hits, if I'm betting total bases and then walks plus hits, it's actually kind of negatively correlated. Because, I guess the walks just kind of raise our floor for that singular bet, but the walk doesn't help me out on total basis. So I'd really be more so focused on fantasy score. If you guys play on FanDuel, they mimic the FanDuel scoring. And over here we got a 7.5 projection for Falefa. So I guess he could technically hit 2 singles and not Wait, a single is 3, right? On Fanduel scoring chart. Single is 3, and a double is 5. So technically, if you're gonna bet him to go over 1.5 total bases, that's 2 singles. So if he hit 2 singles, he hit that fantasy prop anyway. The double doesn't clear it, but I'd probably be more so looking at the fantasy score than these other stuff. The hits plus walks and the total bases, not as correlated as some people might think. And if I was going to bet hits plus walks at 7.5, or excuse me, hits plus walks at 1.5, then I might as well take 7.5 on the fantasy prop. So I'd probably that would be my, if I was going to get there, it'd be 7.5 over Isaiah kind of full effort. Not a name that I would have necessarily got to, but you brought him up, so that's where I'm at. You're going to need more than an RBI single tonight. He's talking about for PrizePicks. RBI single on PrizePicks would be the 7.5, right? Scoring chart. MLB RBI is 2. No, it's not. It's 5. But having 5 implied at bats in Camden with that bullpen, I don't know. We kind of got to a dark place because it's the Rangers. We might come back and sweep through and find some more. Like, dude, Gallo's at 5.5 fantasy points. What? That's wild. That's a lot of respect for Nathan Eovaldi. Gallo's been on fire. That's crazy. That's tempting. Looking through the rest of this lineup, we'll do in a little bit. So we'll cross-reference the bomb detector with some of these scorings. But that's how I like to bet PrizePicks. I'm not saying that's the right or wrong way. That's just the way I do it. I feel like I get a few more outs on the fantasy points versus total bases. Total bases is double zeroed up. You know what I'm saying? Because a guy can hit that fielder's choice RBI, you get nothing to show for it. A guy draws a walk, you get nothing to show for it. A guy steals a base, nothing to show for it on the total bases. But you can clear it with fantasy points. So that's just kind of my preference. But I definitely, I'm not here to change your approach. Fanduel singles 3, doubles are right. Yeah, gotcha. All right, let's get back into the action here. Back into the nitty gritty. We are at Reds and Nats, right? Reds and Nats. We don't have a Nats lineup yet, but we do have a Reds lineup. Paulo Espino taking on Sonny Gray. Sonny Gray is 8.6K on DraftKings, and he's definitely a pitcher that I think I'm going to target tonight. It's under 7 degrees out there in the Great American Small Park. One of my favorite parks to target, one of my favorite parks to watch. Espino, a guy that gets roasted in terms of power to righties, a 2+ home run per 9, 2 right-handed hitters this season, a 50+% fly ball rate, and the results are there, right? He's allowing a lot of homers, and he's got over 100 innings of sample size so far. So to pick on that stat specifically, guys like Jonathan India, Max Schrock, Nick Castellanos with a 4+ rating on the bomb detector. Eugenio Suarez is up there. Plenty of guys to go to. And then a guy like Joey Votto, I'd never not get to in a red stack. Red stack's going to cost you a lot of prices here, similar to the Giants and Coors and some of the other highly sought-after stacks, but it's a good spot against Espino. Espino does have a little bit of a strikeout propensity against righties, 1 in 4 K rate. Against lefties, 17% K rate, high average allowed, and a near 40% hard contact rate. He's actually got a much higher hard contact rate to lefties with a high line drive rate, and the home run per 9 is a lot lower, which is kind of ironic, but maybe that means he's not letting lefties pull the ball as much. So I'm in on the red stack. Reds pushing a near 5 implied run total. I like the park. They are not mathematically out of it, but it's getting close. Sonny Gray as a pitcher for me, 8,600. 18 to 20 DKP is a good start. Could I get more than that? It's a tougher lineup to navigate through in terms of strikeout propensity in the projected 1 through 6, but the strikeouts that are in this lineup, right? Lane Thomas 27%, Carter Keyboom, Andrew Stevenson at 30% apiece, and then the pitcher spot, and then he probably steals a strikeout here and there against the middle of this lineup. Juan Soto is a monster. You put him in one of the more hitter-friendly parks on the slate, he's definitely going to produce. We saw him produce yesterday, but I do think Sonny Gray's in play for me. A 30.7% strikeout rate to lefties, a 35% strikeout rate to righties. Rockies at home this year. That xFIP at 3.8, the home run per nine 1.5. So there is a little bit of risk in the mix, but for the most part, an elevated ground ball rate, striking out still a little over 1-4. He does have potential to be a top 4, I think, scoring slate in projections, or top 4 scoring pitcher in projections. If you look at his last couple outings, 6, 7, 5, 5, 6 innings, wide range of outcomes, a kind of a tight range of outcomes, but not often is he getting you single digits to negatives. Just 1 in his last 10. That was at Philly. What are you gonna do? Most of them are getting you, into the teens and then knocking on the doors of the 20s, and that's not a bad area to be in as a tier 3 SP2 that maybe I unlock 25% of in 2-pitcher sites. So I'm in on Sonny Gray. I might even get more than that 25% number, and we'll see what happens. If I got to a crazy amount, I'd probably sign up a hedge stack or two for these Nats bats. We've seen Lane Thomas thrive. Juan Soto is a beast against anybody. Josh Bell can get there, so plenty of reason to not hate the a couple of these bats from the Nats, but I'm more on the pitcher side. And then the red stack I'm in. TJ Friedl, he's a couple hundred above min price on Fanduel, 100 above min price on DraftKings. Might be worth looking at his minor league stats. I don't need to exhaust too much time here because he is so cheap. If you guys, I don't know if you remember that story about Mookie Betts getting the home run ball from the fan, giving the fan a bat. That was for Friedl's first homer. So a little fun backstory there. But Friedl in the minors this season is batting .264 with a .779 OPS. So nothing staggering. 13 stolen bases, 100 hits. So yeah, he looks like he's just like a replacement level player. But at that price in this park against less than average pitching, I might be in on that. Do we get better looks at a certain split or not? Against righties, 246. Against lefties, 302. So this is not a spot against the lefty, but it's something to keep in the back of our mind. So I'm in on the red stack. A little bit of Sonny Gray. No Espino. Let me get that free square, yo. Who's the free square? Lane Thomas, is that your free square? 4K. He's been a free square. Cubs hosting the Cardinals. The Cardinals haven't lost since the Reagan administration. It's been 1 week since you looked at me. This game is only on DraftKings, not on Fanduel. It's one of a couple doubleheaders on the slate. So, you Fanduel players, go to the bathroom real quick, come back, grab yourself a bang, black cherry vanilla preferred. But for you DK players, hey, Jack Flaherty's on the bump. 10.2K for Flaherty. On the road this season, a 25.8% carry to overall, 208 average allowed, 105 home run per 9. If we isolate that, it's been a lot better against righties, nearly a 30% carry to righties. This Cubs lineup currently projects to be pretty righty heavy. Just Ian Happ, Rafael Ortega projected to bat lefty. That could change. We don't have a lineup out yet. And because it is a doubleheader game, it is only 7 innings. 2 innings of Jack Flaherty baseball against the Detroit Tigers, 46 pitches. So, looks like, because he hasn't pitched in a month, that we can't expect much. So that's 2 pitchers in the 10K plus, Flaherty and Shane Bieber, that you probably can't justify playing. But yeah, I sometimes do like to grab some errant starters from these double headers and steal that complete game, but it doesn't look like I'm gonna be able to play that role here against Jack Flaherty. Zach Davies, you did your thing, dog, but that's gonna be a no for me. Cardinals come in really cheap. Wind blowing out in Wrigley instead of in this time, so maybe adverse effect because hashtag DFS. But 7 innings of Cardinals baseball versus 9 innings. We've already seen Paul Goldschmidt homer in the first game today. He's been on fire, homered a couple times yesterday, I think. He is one of the hottest hitters in baseball. If I told you had to give up an at-bat of Goldie, but I give him to you for 3,300 against Zach Davies, how do you feel about that? Huh? How do we feel about Friddly toothpicks? I'm for him. Bat's clicking, man. One homer pays off 3,300 pretty doggone fast. And this Cubs pitching staff, not great. Zach Davies, 156 homer per night against righties. I'm genuinely curious, chat. Are you getting some Cardinal stacks on DraftKings? Because they're really cheap. They got that 7-inning discount. And if they're doing their thing, if we got a couple homers, Tyler O'Neill, Paul Goldschmidt, guys like that, even if we're only getting 3 implied at-bats, 4 implied at-bats, if they're doing well, is that different than being the home team as a sizable favorite? Like, is it? I don't know, man. I think the Cardinals might be too underpriced here, especially Goldie. He's been on fire. So I think Tyler O'Neill, Goldschmidt, if they make the lineup for the second game, I'm in. I mentioned that the wild card for the second NL wild card spot looks like it's the Cardinals, and no one's gonna catch them. So I don't know if they take their foot off the gas here, if they win the first game, or they say, hey man, let's just double down and let's just clinch this sucker, and then once we clinch it, we can rest up the last week or so. So I think if I'm coaching, I'm all in, but I understand the need to maybe take care of your guys here. But I think they're a little too undervalued based on the matchup, the wind blowing out in Wrigley, and based on how effing on fire they are. Especially if the win streak becomes a narrative, because they'd be at 13 if they won the first game. So it is what it is. I'm the 3-man stack in the cards today, regardless of the innings, 7-inning games. So if I had to guess, your 3-man is it Goldie, O'Neill, Arenado, and I'm assuming Yachty's catching the first game, so he probably doesn't catch the second game. That would be some old school juju, right? 6 runs here. So let's just check in on that game, guys. Did they bench anybody because they're winning? No. Andrew Kisner's catching that game. So Yachty will probably catch the second game. J-Hap has 17. I hate J-Hap. It doesn't make sense. How do the Cardinals get John Lester, J-Hap, and then it works? That's annoying. But yeah, it looks like they're about to win this game, which would be 13 games in a row, and if they won tonight, it'd be 14. So maybe that jazzes them up a little bit more. So we would probably see Goldie, O'Neill, Arenado, Yachty, Molina, and then who knows from there. And then looking at Zach Davies' weaknesses, he's got a 156 overall home run per nine. And at home, his home run per nine jumps to over 2. And like I said, with the wind blowing out, kind of a boost for him. So I'm in on the Cardinals' 7-inning stack. Tyler O'Neill, yeah, I'm in on Tyler O'Neill. O'Neill has one of the highest barrel rates in baseball. Also has one of the highest K rates. But with Zach Davies having just a 19% K rate, we can chop that that O'Neill weakness down a little bit. And it just becomes more chance of him to tap into that barrel rate. And then Zach Davies has a high barrel rate as well. So O'Neill is probably going to be one of the better bets at getting a homer today. Does PrizePicks discount the Cardinals stuff for the doubleheader? I wonder. I don't see any Cardinals here. Maybe they'll add them. But that would have been a good look, is to catch some of these Cardinals at a more discounted rate. Yeah, I know. Let's move on to the next game. By the way, I'm not pitching any Davies or Flaherty, in case we were wondering. Mets at the Brewers. Tyler Megill taking on Eric Lauer. We do have a confirmed Brewers lineup. It is Colton Wong, Willie Adames, Christian Yelich, Avi Garcia, Omar Narvaez, Eduardo Escobar, Daniel Vogelback in the Lou, and then Lorenzo Cain. Good to see him healthy. Mets lineup unconfirmed. Mets have a 3.8 implied run total with a 3.8. Really? A 3.8 implied run total against Eric Lauer. Lauser. That seems a little low. Mets fans, where are you at? Stand up. Don't get disrespected like this. Nah. For what it's worth, Eric Lauer hasn't allowed more than one earned run since August 27th. Hasn't allowed more than 3 at all in his last 10. So maybe Lauer is more elite at run prevention than I give him credit for. Is Lauer playable? Look at these ranges of outcomes. 19, 27, 26, 19. Big ground ball guy, right? Nope. Fly ball is kind of even. Some games more, some games less. What are the metrics telling us against Eric Lauer? 45% ground ball rate to lefties, 32% to righties. He is a guy with an elevated xFIP, over 4 to righties, 4.58 to lefties, but the results are there for him. Almost a 12% walk rate to lefties. So, I don't know. Feels like he's a little bit on the lucky side. ERA's at 3.03, but the Sierra's at 4.25. Expected ERA 3.9. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's like, I don't know, dude. If I wanted to pick on Lauer, has a 1.4 homer per 9 to righties. Jonathan VR might get one of those crazy swings. Lindor, Pete Alonso, Javi Baez, all in play here. Baez kind of like, not as much, but kind of like the O'Neill example, high K rate. But when he does make contact against lefties, it can go far. 28% K rate to lefties, but a 272 ISO. So if Lauer's going to dare him with some ability to make contact, then I'm in on it. I guess he does have a 25% K rate this season against righties, but the swing and strike rate is just 10.4%. That's crazy. Megal on the bump for the Mets, 8.8 K, decent K rates to both sides of the plate. Been kind of Jekyll and Hyde in terms of results. There have been nights where he's won me a ton of money, and then nights where I really get behind him against righty-heavy lineups, and he doesn't quite thrive. But his game log kind of tells you the story, right? -5, 30, 19, 18, -2. Wide range of outcomes for him. But he does have strikeout propensity at 8.8 K. Does have the ability to give me 20 plus. So I'm going to have some exposure to him. Does he have a brother that pitches for the Cubs? Trevor Megal? I guess so. Huh. Fun fact. So I'll have a little bit of Tyler Megill. I think the K rates to both sides of the plate are there. Against lefties, though, he's definitely struggled. And this lineup being more than half lefty means I won't have much Megill, maybe like 5 to 6%. A 5+ xFIP, a 315 average allowed, 278 home run per 9 allowed. That could put me on some of these Brewers lefties. Brewers having just a 4.3 implied run total. Colton Wong, Yelich, Omar Narvaez, Escobar. Escobar I like quite a bit. But Narvaez is just 2,300 on Fanduel. So big discrepancy in price point considering the salary differences between Fanduel and DraftKings being almost 2K or a 2K difference from one to the other. So I could see myself having a little bit more 5-hole Narvaez considering these splits and considering that he's batting 5th. So I like that price on Narvaez on Fanduel. And then, like I said, a couple of guys that I would chip in a chair with the power bat against the lefty on the Mets. The gut says the Mets total is a little too low, but I don't know. The last thing I want to do at this stage in the season is depend on the Mets. So I'm in on some of these Brewers bats. Results are the results, right? I guess Eric Lauer, like I wouldn't push back if you had some Eric Lauer in your lineup. Is getting some strikeouts. So yeah, I don't mind a little bit of it. A little bit of Lauer, a little bit of Megill, a little bit. And you can give me some bats from either side. Gunn, I just got in here. Is that starter for the Padres any good? Is he an actual starter? I haven't got to that game yet. Is it that Reese guy? I just assumed that was a full bullpen game. I saw Pierce Johnson as the projected opener this morning, and I know he's a bullpen guy, so I just assumed a bullpen game. But when I get to that, I'll be able to dive in a little bit more. Blue Jays at the Twins, next game on the docket. Twins lineup is out. Twins 4.2 implied run total. Blue Jays 4.9. Rise, Buxton, Jorge Polanco, Josh Donaldson, Miguel Sano, Nick Gordon with the game of his life yesterday. I appreciate that, Nick Gordon. I really do. Brother of Miami Marlin legend, D. Gordon. That's our confirmed Twins lineup. Jose Barrios, former Twin ace, pitching against his former team while his current team is in a wild card race. So I would love for the Twins to know everything that there is to know about Jose Barrios and bop them one good time for the good time. Matchup wise, Bailey Ober, little tall, lanky dude, 6'7" on DraftKings, 27% K rate to righties, 23% K rate to lefties. Kind of hard to pitch against the Blue Jays with any type of confidence, especially just generally speaking. They don't offer you that, hey, we could still strike out potential. Teoscar Hernandez, Jake Lamb both have elevated K rates, but for the most part, a lot of 20% or less. So Ober would have to labor a little bit. That series that the Twins had in Rogers Center, it was a little bit more surprising than in the moment, right? Ober, though, did not have a good game in that series. 4 earnings and 4 innings pitched. 2 walks, just 3 strikeouts. Not really much here to go after Bailey Ober on a 15-game Friday night, so we're going to X him out of the player pool. Jose Barrios, a little bit more intriguing. He's definitely had some strong games in target field. 9,500, looking for 20 plus, definitely possible. In this bottom lane of the Twins, Miguel Sano, Nick Gordon, Rooker, and Jeffers has some strikeouts in it. 1-in-5 plus strikeout rate for that lane. He's got to really work his way through Arise, Polanco, Donaldson. But there's a world where he gets out a strikeout per inning and gets through 6 innings here in a near must-win game for the Blue Jays. So I don't mind putting some narrative on Barrios and kind of hoping he comes through here. The real-life gun wants the Twins to drop 10, so the DFS gun might stack the Twins just because they're a little bit trolly and their offense is kind of better than perceived, I think. 102 WRC plus on the season against righties. But yeah, I wouldn't push back if he had some Barrios. And then the Blue Jays offense. Could this be one of those spots where Coors kind of shadows them and they come in a little bit under own? It's very possible. 4,900 for Springer. If we get that full onslaught Blue Jays lineup, there's definitely not reason to push back. Ober gives up a lot of power to both sides of the plate. And then we dip into a bullpen that allows homers at an above average clip. So wouldn't fault you for getting to some Blue Jays. It is 59 degrees in Minnesota, which is going to be amongst the coldest temperatures in all of the slate. So maybe the ball carries a little bit less, and the offense isn't as exciting. But the game theory behind the Blue Jays perhaps being under-owned because of the matchup still exists. So I wouldn't push back on some Blue Jays ownership in a, like I said, near must-win territory for all of those AL East teams. Barrios at 9,500. I'd put him as a tier 3 for now. Get to him where I get to him. The weather will help him to an extent. And then we're hoping for 20 DKP or greater at that price point, which is viable. 21, 18, 26, 24. That last start against Minnesota, he dropped 21. 6+ innings in all of his last 5 starts. A couple of stronger matchups too. So I'm fine with getting to Barrios to a decent extent. Kate Johnson says, new free square. Nick Gordon, play your free squares tonight and win money. Nick Gordon. What a stud. Did his thing yesterday. Dual position eligible. $200 above min price. 3 hits, 1 hit, 3 hits. He has got you a hit in 4 or 5 games straight. A couple multi-hit games here. A couple home runs in his last 3 games. Sure, go for it. A couple double-digit games. I'm with it. Stolen base potential. Could it be the new Alberto Mondesi? I don't know. I don't know that he's not. I don't know. Actually, I probably know that he's not, but just out of curiosity here. Let's go check it out. Sometimes players get on a streak, man. Unquantifiable hot streak. 25 years old, in the minors this season. 3 bombs, 71 at-bats, so that's good. 7 stolen bases. 774 OPS. Career stats in the minors, 276, 716. Go for it. I think he's cheap. He's really, really cheap. So, sure. Why not? Giants at the Rockies. Rocky Mountain High. Alex Wood taking on Pete Lambert. Lambert, not good. Not what you want. Hasn't pitched in the majors since 2019, it looks like. Let me double check that. Make sure he doesn't have a Pete versus Peter, you know what I'm saying? Petey on the IL. Yeah, no pitches in the bigs this season. Let's go look at his minor league numbers. I'm assuming, call me crazy, that because the Giants have a 7+ implied run total, that we're not about to look at Nolan Ryan stats, right? In the minors this season, 16 innings, 19 strikeouts, 1.38 whip. Last couple games, how many innings are we working with? September 16th, 2.2 innings, 3 innings, 2.2 innings. So it looks like, I don't want to say at best, but it looks like we may not expect more than 3 innings from him anyway at the major league level. And then split-wise, he used to have a problem with power to both sides of the plate, 89 innings. Has that reared its head in limited sample size so far? 3.2 innings against lefties, 2 homers. So yeah, it has. But only 7.2 overall innings of sample size. And that's not enough to we're stacking the Giants here. Everyone's in play. We don't have a confirmed Giants lineup yet. Remember, I know I put a lot of hype on the Red Sox and Yankees, but the Giants are playing some of the most important baseball that there is to play because they are in a division race with the Dodgers. So them continuing to win and currently on the inside looking out, you got to win the games you're supposed to win. And you're supposed to win against Pete Lambert in the Colorado Rockies. So look for those bats to come out inspired, and for who's it? Gabe Kapler? Is it Kapler? To put out his A lineup. And there's not going to be many Giants I don't get to in my stacks here. And by many, I mean any based on this projected lineup. So, yeah, Alex Wood on the bump. I'm probably going to stay away from that. 26% K rate to righties, 22% to lefties. We're dealing with Coors Field, a little bit more of a tougher Rockies home team. Last couple days, they've kind of stunned the Dodgers in terms of runs. I think stack-wise, they're kind of too cheap to go against a lefty. Alex Wood does have a 1 homer per 9 against righties and a 1.22 on the road. The Rockies have a couple of lefty smackers, man. Trevor Story, CJ Megakrone. You could put them in play for me for sure. Garrett Hampson as the leadoff guy, under 3K, seems a little bit mispriced. Brendan Rodgers. Generally speaking, this is kind of too cheap to go against maybe an average pitcher in Alex Wood. Maybe he's a little bit above average, but it just feels harder to trust that. But a Giant stack being 7.1 implied run totals, you don't hardly ever see 7. So I got to imagine that's going to make them the highest owned stack on the slate. Just guessing. I cannot confirm or deny it. I haven't looked at ownership projections, but just seemed like logistically they would be the highest owned stack. Let's get caught up on chat. Is Lambert the guy that pitched with the Rockies before? I think so. 2.2 batting 6 for Minnesota. With that, gas can Lambert is back. Yep. Let's move on to the next game. Angels hosting the Mariners. Logan Gilbert taking on Jose Suarez. Angels have an implied run total 4.1. Mariners 4.5. Logan Gilbert at 6,400 on DraftKings. What? Huh? Did I miss something? Is he on a 10 pitch count? Like what's going on here? 7 innings, 6 innings, 4-5. He has gotten you 90 plus pitches in 4-5 of his last 6 games. Why is he 6,400? That doesn't make sense to me. Does not compute. 2 games against the Angels this season, 10 innings, 24 DKP a game. This seems like what and why? I don't get it. I don't get it. I really don't. I'm not gonna say free square lock whatever. Maybe DFS is DFS, but I think the correlation between Logan Gilbert at SP2 and a full-fledged Giant stack is gonna be pretty high. Like that's ridiculous. DraftKings, that's unacceptable. Easy game, right? The Angels. Look at the strikeout rates in this Angels projected lineup. It's dumb. Marsh, 34% against righties since the beginning of last year. Mayfield, 26. Ohtani, 27. Gosselin, 27. Walsh, 26. Jose Rojas, 27. And Max Stassi, 31%. What? Yeah, I'm playing Logan Gilbert. I'll probably have tier 1 exposures to him. Like, he might be one of my highest. He will be one of my highest owned pitchers should this lineup look like this lineup. Maybe Madden makes us wait. But that seems egregious. I don't know. Maybe it's too good to be true. Jose Suarez pitching for the Angels here, 6,300. I don't really have a bunch of interest in Suarez. I guess if he, literally $100 more, I get to Logan Gilbert and get a little bit more strikeout upside. 12.7% swinging strike rate for Gilbert, 26% overall K rate. He just has more stuff than Suarez in terms of fantasy relevant upside. So I'm in on Gilbert a lot. I wouldn't push back if you got to a little Suarez, but I'm not really there. If I wanted to pick on Suarez, I guess he's got reverse splits. He's letting lefties hit for power. So Kyle Seager's a guy that can take advantage of reverse splits at 246 ISO to lefties since the beginning of last year. Go for it. Give me some Kyle Seager. And that's all I got to say about that. Let's go to K Factory for Gilbert. Sure, let's give Gilbert 90 pitches in the K Factory against this projected lineup, right? Maybe the Angels put out a different lineup, but this projected lineup is a strikeout-prone lineup. 6.9 on the K Factory at 90, 7.6 at 100 pitches. What's PrizePicks got on a Logan Gilbert prop? If you can give me 5.5 on Logan Gilbert, which might be a soft expectation, I'd take the over. He's at 6. I'd probably push at 6 and then take a shot at more. It depends on what the lineup is, but if it's this projected lineup, yeah, I'm pitching against that with a Logan Gilbert. Just am. You can literally play anybody with Gilbert or Hernandez. Yeah, I probably will too. Gilbert be high on, and like I said, there's two studs that are coming back that you can't touch. Right? You can't play Shane Bieber at 11.3K on 75 pitches. You just can't. And then Jack Flaherty at 10K as an opener against Chicago. Dude, if you thought he could get 4 innings and he was 7 to 8K, maybe you see more people take that chance. It's just like this slate is not that. It's not that stacked for pitching. So why not take a couple of 10, 15, 20 ranges of outcomes from your SP, SP2, and then go get every bat you want. But that seems like the obvious approach. Angels were pesky to McCullers. Not sure about Chalk Donkey Gilbert. Let's look at the lineup that the Angels rolled out, I guess. Also, like, you're way too. It's Sean, so I'm not gonna unload on that. But we can't be too results oriented on certain things. But the Angels lineup yesterday looks like the projected lineup today. Suzuki's a little bit scrappier than Stassi if Stassi did play. And then Pesky. What do we mean by Pesky? He got 5 strikeouts, 6 innings, so that's not too pesky. I would take 5 at if you even at 14. If I got 14 from Logan Gilbert's price, I don't think it's the end of the world. But yeah, McCullers is whatever. I'm not gonna overthink it. 27%. I feel like Gilbert's strikeout numbers are higher than McCullers. McCullers this season, just out of curiosity, McCullers this season, he's got a high strikeout rate to both sides of the plate. His swing and strike rate's lower. I don't know. I wouldn't overreact to yesterday. Devin, what? Is Nakriti alive? Greinke just got scratched for Houston. Belak, so that becomes a full-fledged bullpen game, which is weird because like I wasn't gonna play Greinke anyway. But the 7K. Give me all of the Olsen against Belak. Maybe. I'm gonna get to that game in just a second. Hernandez is 8.3 and Gilbert's 8.2 on Fanduel. Boy, oh boy. So on Fanduel, yeah, it's a little different. Fanduel, you can get away with murder, right? We mentioned some guys that are way too cheap on Fanduel, so you don't have to get as cute at pitcher because Fanduel, the floor is a little bit higher because you're gonna get more credit for the 6-inning quality start. You're not going to get taxed for the hits allowed, the walks, all that stuff. It's just strikeouts, outs, and don't give up earnings. So I don't get as cute on FanDuel generally. I usually like to get guys that I think can get me 6 innings. I do think Logan Gilbert can be that guy. But like these are on an efficiency site, 5-6K pitchers. Those dogs will hunt in the right spot. And these feel like right spots for Gilbert and Hernandez respectively. Moving on to the Astros game. So looks like it looks like Greinke scratched 10-day IL. Brandon Belak. Sometimes it be like that, you know. He was in the bullpen for the Red Sox either last year or the year before. And then now he's going to get that surprise opener spot for the Astros, which becomes a bullpen game. Which, I don't know. Like, if I definitely, like I saw you mention Matt Olson. If you're on Matt Olson, sure, play him. But it's hard to project a matchup versus anything. I will say it's 60 degrees in Oakland. O.co plays more pitcher friendly as it is. And then as the air gets a little bit colder, a little bit more dense, it's a little harder to project high run totals here. Might see if Vegas reacts to no Greinke, but I'm not 100% sure that going Greinke to Belak is anything more than a lateral, right? I don't know that it's an upgrade or a downgrade because Greinke is not a guy that misses a lot of bats this day and age. So Belak, though, if we look at his metrics here, 19% K rate to righties, 23% K rate to lefties. He's actually done better against lefties to kind of push back against that Olson theory. Olson's a beast anyway, so like if you're on him, you're on him. But he doesn't give up homers or power to lefties, and actually has nearly a 60% ground ball rate to lefties. He's really struggled against righties. So if he allowed a hit for average guy like maybe Josh Harrison or Starling Marte, are kind of cheap on FanDuel to get on. Maybe they swipe a bag or something. But generally speaking, I think I'm away from this game for offense. And then Frankie Montas, he becomes another tough decision to make at the 10K area. Garrett Cole's a hard pill to swallow in a potential weather game. Fenway, big spot. You can't touch Bieber, you can't touch Flaherty. Then Frankie Montas gets the Houston Astros. I mean, 10K range has risk today. Montas has 3 games against the Astros. He is averaging 23 DKP. Is 23 shaking the world at 10.6? And at 23, it's saying, yeah, a couple games you did more, a couple games you did less. If you get 17 out of a 10K pitcher, you're probably not super stoked. But he does have some good stuff. He does have a leash to him. So Athletics are on the cusp of being eliminated from the wild card hunt. So they got to win until they can't. So I expect him to come out here and do his due diligence here. 27% K rate. At home this season, 0.78 home run per 9. Sub 6% walk rate. And the hard contact rate's low. So one of those spots where we don't project the Astros to put up a ton of runs here. They don't have a ton of strikeouts. I guess this projected lineup has more strikeouts than I thought it would. Alvarez, 1-4. Myers, McCormick, and Martin Maldonado all at 26 to 30%. So half the lineup does have some strikeout propensity. And then if Montes can keep the ball on the ground in the park, maybe he does eat 6-7 innings and holds them at bay. And more than likely, if you get 6-7 innings out of Montes, you get to 20 plus. So he'll be in the pool for me. Probably not a tier 1, but he'll be in the pool. We can't really get to any Astros pitchers. It's going to be full on bullpen game. If we wanted to stack the Astros, a 3.9 run total is about as low as it comes for what is generally the best road team in baseball. I don't know if that's still true, but looking at team batting stats, 337, I got to hurry up. Looking at team batting stats and looking at road numbers. Away. Let's go active roster. And then WRC plus. Yeah, Houston's still the best road team in baseball, so it's kind of disrespectful that they have a sub-4 run total. But yeah, Oakland Coliseum plays really pitcher-friendly, especially the colder it gets. And right now it's 60 degrees, so not really in love with that environment for hitting. An environment I do like for hitting, though, is Chase Field. Once again, Chase Field opening up the roof. Humberto Castellanos taking on Tony Gonsolin. We don't have a Dodgers lineup yet, but you got to imagine it's the best lineup possible Dave Roberts can put out because the Giants and the Dodgers racing for that NL West. With Chase Field opening the roof, man, this was a money print fest for me. That entire Braves series on the main slate, at least. I'm not getting away from the Dodgers, and maybe this becomes kind contrarian versus cores, but I was getting the Braves at ridiculous ownerships all throughout that stretch. Dodgers maybe a little bit more household friendly in name value. Maybe they will pick up some steam. Maybe people are on Chase Field being much more hitter friendly when the lid is popped. But the Dodger stack, absolutely give them to me. 6.1 implied run total for them. Sign me up. Gonsolin on the bump for the Dodgers. He's been a guy that results are better than the metrics. 2.93 ERA. Sierra's knocking on the door of 5, a 1.4 WHIP. If you wanted to get to the Diamondbacks, sure. I don't feel like there's anyone that I would get the warm and fuzzies on. You can give me some Ketel Marte, even Dalton Varsho's got 4,900 for Dalton Varsho. That sounds ridiculous. You can get him for 25 on FanDuel, however. But give me Ketel Marte. I think he's a world class player. Pavin Smith, just Dalton Varsho. But give me the Dodger stack all day long, all day strong, and not really a need to get to either pitcher with the roof being what it is, right? Let's get caught up on chat. Better question, who is the Kyle Seager for Houston? Because he ended up every Oakland pitcher this week. What do you mean? Like, are we talking about the lefty splits or just like who's the best? I don't understand the context of that question. Fake Giants make money, way too chalky on this massive of a slate. I don't have context of what their ownership projections are. I would assume 20+% for a 7-run total is a reasonable expectation. As far as rating that mathematically, if you're running a lot of lineups long term, yeah, that's probably the play. But I don't want to put people off of that game. But there's plenty of pivots. Obviously, I'm on the Dodgers, and there's a couple of spots. Camden could play crazy, but I don't hate it. I think Lux might get another spot start if Taylor can't go. Good value versus. Yeah, actually, the other night we saw Taylor and Lux in the lineup together too. So there's definitely with Bellinger on the IL right now, there's definitely some creativity possible for the Dodgers, but yeah, they got to come out here and get these dubs. Dodgers, Rays, Jays, and Cincy. Raj has spoken. Guys, we got one game left on the docket. Take a pause for the cause. If you guys want to hang out with me up until lock in about 20 minutes, I'll be in the RunDFS.com MLB VIP Discord voice chat. Go to RunDFS.com, click VIP memberships, get yourself signed up. It's been a hot week, man. We're hitting in every sport. My boy Fish hit top 3 in a tournament for baseball this week. I took down Showdown last night. Logan and Ed hit the nuts in the Monday night showdown. Shady dropping 20K win on Saturday in soccer, then flipping 7K in MMA, man. I don't know, man. Luck is in the air. So as long as you're not Raj, you got a shot at being successful tonight. And then, of course, into this weekend, NFL Week 3, we'll be grinding out hopefully a strong NFL Week 3. So come be part of the fun, the action, get access to the spreadsheets, but more importantly, access to the Discord. Main event tonight features the Atlanta Braves against the Padres of San Diego. Reese Nair is pitching for the Padres and Max Fried for the Braves. Looks like the second of the doubleheaders for this slate on DraftKings. I don't know why DraftKings left 2 doubleheaders on their main slate. FanDuel did not, so FanDuel players stick around. We'll catch up on a couple other lineups, but unlike the St. Louis Cardinals, the Braves did not get the 7-inning discount. So I feel like I'm not going to get to near 6K Freeman, 5+3 or 5.3K Ozzie Albies as much as I would get to like 3K Paul Goldschmidt. But maybe that makes him a little bit more lucrative in long-filled tournaments. Reese Nair, forgive me if I'm saying that wrong. The projected opener, at least, for the he's 9K. Did I read that right? Am I? What is up with the pricing today? Why is Logan Gilbert 6K and Reese Nair is 9K? DraftKings, what are you doing? Bro, we got 2 weeks of baseball left. Could you step it up just a little bit? Just a little bit? Like, this is ridiculous, man. 1 innings, 2 innings, 2 innings, 2 innings from Reese Nair his last couple outings. You don't expect many pitches for him. I guess he's got a month of minor league stuff. Has been throwing like 150 pitches in the minors. Like, is there a reason why this guy is this price and Logan Gilbert's 6K? It's inexplicable, man. It really is. Game logs for Near. His last, we might have 4 starts since August. Maybe. So, September, 3 innings, 2 innings, 2 innings. It's a joke. So, I guess he's been okay as a pitcher. Strikeout per inning guy, not giving up a ton of on-base stuff. Not more than 1 homer per game in most of his minor league appearances. 7 innings. Yeah, I don't need to get to the Braves here. But definitely ain't getting to 9K Reese Nair. Max Fried's a little bit more intriguing. If you believe that the Padres are just done and Fried gets to, his 18, 20 plus, maybe he's still 7 innings, complete game, whatever. But no warm and fuzzies on that sentence at all. I do like the Padres generally against lefties. Tatis, Machado, Will Myers, Tommy Pham, guys like that. But we saw Fried go 7 innings in his last start against the Giants, number 1 team in baseball, right? So if he went 7 innings today, you'd get the CG points. He's actually gone 6 innings. Jesus, he's gone 6, 7, and 9 in every start, as far as the eye can see. So he might be a little bit more viable tonight than maybe we give him credit for, just because that 7th inning would net him that complete game bonus. And if he went complete game, he probably wins too. So maybe I get to a little bit more free just to be a little sneakier. But my God, what are you supposed to do with that? Trey Turner's on a 10-game hit streak. Yeah, Trey Turner's pretty good. The Millie Maker Bink is coming. Need a baseball bink today, so I don't need a deposit. Come on, buddy. Coors hangover for the Dodgers. Careful on that stack. Maybe, but so all right. One, Coors hangover is kind of a bull crap thing anyway. But the Chase Field with the roof open, I think it's second highest stadium in elevation, and then it's basically Coors South. So maybe they'll be alright. Just saying. Stack the Braves. You don't know the Braves stack at this price, 7 innings. I'm not pushing back on it. I mean, for what it's worth, this kid doesn't look like he's like a gas can. I guess the metrics suggest regression, right? High fly ball rate. I guess in the minors, who say his minor stats were? If we pop open the splits. Sean, the hangovers after the first game normally. I don't really buy into that stuff. Like, I understand the logic behind it, but I'm not getting. That's ridiculous. The Dodgers, only hangover the Dodgers are worried about is popping champagne if they can take a division. Against lefties, 24 innings, 202 average allowed, 3 bombs in 24 innings, so a little bit of power there. 1 bomb against righties in 30 innings, so not as bad. Strikeouts 20, so he's been a contact pitcher, but a little bit of a power problem to lefties in short sample size. So I guess Albies, Freeman would be the guys that I would want, but man, you definitely feel like you're paying a premium on them. And like I always say, homer, like if you hit a homer, you hit value, but at 5.8K, you hit a homer, you hit value. You don't necessarily break a slate, right? I think a guy like they're on a doubleheader, right? The other doubleheader on this slate is the Cardinals, and the Cardinals got discounted because of the doubleheader. And you look at a guy like Paul Goldschmidt right now, he's en fuego. He's on fire. He's homered twice yesterday. He's homered today. And he's not even the most expensive guy on his team, which is in and of itself inexplicable. But if he hits a homer, he hits value, and then he's just a great play at 3,300. If Freeman does, I don't necessarily feel like I'm ahead of the field because I feel like other first basemen have hit homers. So like I still think Goldsmith could break a slate at this price with 2 hits if one's a homer. Goldie or Freeman's not, like, I don't get the same thought process at almost double the price. Maybe 1.7 the price. So I don't know. I'm not really inclined to get to egregious amounts of Freeman or Albies, but the Cardinal stack does line up pretty well for me. That is our main slate. So I'll tell you what, let's get caught up on lineups that came out. What is it, 3:48? If you guys are getting out of here, go catch in the Osmo Baseball stream, man. I do appreciate your time. Just do me one favor, hit that thumbs up before you hit the road. Otherwise, twitter.com/gundacker. Remember, I do want to start doing some TikTok shout-outs to people that hit big, no matter what the sport is. So maybe start tweeting me those screenshots, and then we'll do the YouTube short stuff here. But let's get caught up in a few lineups, chat. If you guys have any lingering questions, comments, concerns, thoughts, bold calls, whatever, drop them in chat, and we'll visit them all and get it set up, right? This is the first game. This is the thing most of the time, not always. Then that's not a thing. Then it's a coincidence, right? It's not. Pirates lineup did not come out. Phillies lineup did come out. Odubel, Gene Segura, Bryce Harper, JT Realmuto, Brad Miller, Andrew McCutchen, Didi, Freddie Galvis. So as projected, Phillies lineup in there like swimwear. Moving on, Orioles lineup not out yet. Marlins and the Rays are out. We already had that. White Sox at the Indians. Indians lineup is out. Bradley Zimmer leading off here. Ahmed Rosario, Jose Ramirez, Fran Mil Reyes, Bobby Bradley, Harold Ramirez, Owen Miller, Roberto Perez, Oscar Mercado. So they took out is it Miles Straw, the leadoff guy? So the lineup actually, I think, got worse. So Dylan Cease, I dig him quite a bit. If you can get me a couple outs before you see Jose Ramirez and then stagger the strikeouts, I like that a little bit more than just having the lanes, right? You can get out of some jams. So Dylan Cease looking strong as ever. I'm still in on that. Yankees lineup not out yet. Reds lineup we already had. Cardinals and the Cubs still playing or about to finish, right? Brewers lineup was already out. We got that. Twins lineup, we got that. Rockies. So that's it. All the lineups that we have in the spreadsheet are up to date. So let's get caught up on chat before we matriculate on to the VIP Discord. You stacking cards, top 4 hitters? Yeah, I think the Cardinals are too cheap. Now, obviously, we got to wait on that lineup, but we should get that lineup because that first game's about done. Looking at it. Matter of fact, it might be done. It looked like they were in the 5th, 6th inning when I looked a minute ago. 8-5. Yeah, so that'd be done within. It's got 3 outs left, and the Cardinals are up by 3. So they need to close it out. You know, maybe the Cubs stun us here, but they close it out. Yachty did not catch the first game, so he probably catches this game, and that'll be their best look lineup, keeping that win streak alive. Goldie's on fire. Goldie's got 2 hits this morning. Saw what he did yesterday. The Cardinals overcame a 5-run deficit, a first inning grand slam by Wainwright. So they're just clicking right now. So I'm in on the Cardinals stack because usually, I don't know. Usually you get like 4Ks on the 7-inning game. This team has been too good lately to be 3K, and it's against the Cubs, and the wind is blowing out to dead center right now. So. You guys remember the wind in game from a couple nights ago? Well, this is the reverse. So a couple of those fly balls get pushed out a little bit more, and it's more positive expectations, right? Why is the Cards game out on Fanduel? It's because of the doubleheader. The Fanduel's been good about not putting doubleheader games on slates. So, yeah. So there's 2 games that are on DraftKings tonight that are not on Fanduel. It's not a coincidence. It makes perfect logical sense. I mean, it really doesn't. Like it. I guess your argument is that they go to Colorado and they spend time in the altitude, and then the first game out, the bodies are doing such a bad job at adjusting that they don't know how to play baseball for just one game. Like that's your logic, which like the thought process, like it sounds good, but like it seems like. I don't know. It seems like a statement that has no research behind it. Like it could be possible, but like give me some numbers, man. Don't just give me that. And then, like I said, Chaseville is second at altitude, and it's for. I'm not even gonna entertain that right now. What is the bomb detector looking like? Good question. Good question. All right. So with the projected lineups that we have now, refresh the bomb detector, sort it from greatest to lowest. Andrew McCutchen at the tippy top at just 7 innings from the opposing pitcher. Adolis Garcia, 4.3. So I did talk about the Rangers and the Orioles perhaps being one of those two teams no one's really on, but in a great spot. Maybe game stack. I don't mind that. Mentioned Brandon Lau. The opposing pitcher has had a real big problem against power to lefties. Tyler O'Neill against Zach Davies. So this is huge. Just to isolate this for a second. We mentioned, obviously we just talked about the innings, but how about the pitcher for the Cubs today, Zach Davies? He's got a 19% K rate to righties, which is already a problem against O'Neill, who has a 32% carry, but when he doesn't strike out, he's a 221 ISO and a 16.7% barrel rate on batted balls that he puts in play. A 1.8 home run per 9. At home, a 2.18 home run per 9. And he's got the wind blowing out. So if you're not going to strike out a guy like Tyler O'Neill, it could be a problem. And O'Neill is top 4 in the bomb detector, but in sample size, he's number 1. It is not close. Washington's going to get gray tonight. Yeah, I don't mind sunny gray, 20 miles an hour. I think I'm just going to keep riding the car. Yeah, Cardinals are looking like they're in a good spot. So hopefully we get that lineup with decent time and they don't get too cute with it. San Francisco Giants lineup is out, is it? All right, I didn't see it on my lineups page, but I'm seeing it. Oh, you know what? The Yankees lineup came out too. It says Peter Lambert limited to 60 pitches. I feel like he was going to be limited to 60 with or without the limitation. So I guess if you want, we'll get a couple of these other lineups in. But I really do got to get you guys out of here. The Yankees lineup came out too, right? Yeah. So let's process that as well. Here we go. We've got DJ LeMahieu, Anthony Rizzo, Aaron Judge, Giancarlo, Joey Gallo, Gleyber, Gio, Brett Gardner. So Gio Urshela's batting 7th. Then Brett Gardner. And Higashioka. I forgot about that. I don't know why I didn't think about that earlier, but obviously Gary is not the caddy for... lately, Gary hasn't been catching Cole or Kluber. So the DH spot, is it Judge again? That might be worrisome if they're giving Judge DH 3 games in a row. Let me check out the Yankees Twitter. I was hoping they would burn the 3 guys in the outfield, Judge, Stanton, Gallo, and then you'd replace Gardner with a Luke Voit, just have that extra big bop. But looking at their Twitter, pour up, drink, load up. There we go. No, Judge isn't right. So Stanton's DH, and so I guess they leave in Guardian outfield. All right, there's moves to be made, subbed in and out, whatever. Whatever. I would have liked to see Luke Voit in that lineup, just to give him extra pop. What else did we have here? We had the Nats lineup come out. Lane Thomas, Alcides Escobar, Juan Soto, Josh Bell, Luis Garcia, Kybert Ruiz, Carter Kieboom, Andrew Stevenson, literally as projected. And I think that was it. So, I guess that's it. Thoughts on Baltimore stack? I think Baltimore and the Rangers are very viable. 2 less than average pitchers in a plus hitters park. I kind of like the Ranger stack a little bit more than I should. But Baltimore is fine. Spencer Howard has a lot of 318 average to righties, 131 home run per 9 to righties. Outside of Globe Life, for whatever reason, he hasn't been as bad, but the XFIP says that he's due for regression. So Mullins, Mountcastle, Santander, Mancini, Austin Hayes, 1 through 5, all look fine to me in a 1-game sample size, and they're really, really cheap. So you can do whatever you want today. Pricing for pitching is kind of inefficient versus what we might want to do with our hitters. So we'll come through. Guys, tomorrow I'm on Osmo twice. So wake up in the morning with me, get that coffee. I'll be talking to Slate with EMAC. And then before lock, literally the hour before lock, I'm going to be talking, I believe, with my boy Terry, fellow Yankee fan. It could be a somber hour if things go bad tonight. So check that out tomorrow on the Osmo channel. We might have some NFL content. I was thinking about doing an NFL live stream tomorrow if we can find a spot. You guys let me know if you'd be game for an NFL stream. Definitely one of the holes in this channel's game so far is not live streaming for football, but it's just like hard to find a spot to do that, right? But yeah, man, I appreciate you guys hanging out, making part of my day, be part of your day. I hope you guys absolutely smoke it tonight. Twitter.com/Gundacker. Show me the results, show me those screenshots tonight, and maybe we'll start that YouTube short series, man. I hope you guys win all of the money. Save some for me, but win all of the money. I love you guys. Good luck. God bless. And go win some money.